the $4 powder that turns ant colonies against themselves. You've seen the promises before: fast results, total elimination, no effort required. Most of it is just noise, but every once in a while, buried under all that exaggeration, there's something real, something tested by time, not just marketing. This is one of those cases. For over a century, one simple mineral has quietly outperformed many modern pest control methods, not through brute force, but through biology itself. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just a method that works because it understands the enemy better than the enemy understands itself. If you've ever dealt with ants taking over your kitchen, your storage, your supplies, this isn't just another trick. This is a system, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to use it. If you value real, practical knowledge like this, just take a second to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, drop your experience in the comments, and subscribe to WARFRONT Survival. Now let's get straight into it. In the late 1800s, deep in California's Death Valley, borax wasn't just a cleaning agent, it was survival-grade material. Extracted under brutal conditions and hauled across hundreds of miles by mule teams, it earned its place in households through sheer utility. It cleaned, preserved, and most importantly, solved problems cheaply and reliably. That last part is what matters here. Long before commercial pest control became an industry, households relied on what worked. Borax became one of those quiet essentials, passed down not through textbooks, but through repetition and results, and one of its most effective uses was never formally advertised. It spread through word of mouth because it didn't need anything else. Most people fail against ants because they fight individuals. Ants are not individuals in any meaningful sense. They operate as a single organism spread across thousands of bodies. What you see on your counter is not the problem, it's just a tiny fraction of it. The colony is the target. The queen is the engine. As long as she lives, the system rebuilds. Sprays and surface killers feel effective because they deliver immediate results, but they only remove the visible layer. Within days, the colony compensates, sending more workers along the same routes. The problem returns because it was never actually addressed. This is where borax changes the equation completely. Borax doesn't act like a weapon, it acts like a weakness. When mixed with sugar, it becomes attractive to foraging ants. They consume it, but more importantly, they transport it. This is where the method turns strategic. The poison is slow acting. That delay is not a flaw. It's the entire advantage. The worker returns to the colony and shares the food through trophallaxis, the process ants use to distribute nutrients among themselves. This includes feeding other workers, larvae, and, ultimately, the queen. The contamination spreads through the colony's own supply chain. By the time symptoms appear, the damage is already systemic. Workers begin to die. The larvae stop developing, the queen weakens, and eventually stops producing. The colony doesn't explode. It collapses. This method only works if the balance is correct. Too strong, and the ants die before returning. Too weak, and the colony survives. The proven ratio is 3 parts sugar to 1 part borax, dissolved into a liquid solution with warm water. The consistency should be thin enough for ants to drink easily, but concentrated enough to carry back efficiently. Placement matters more than quantity. The bait must sit directly along active trails, entry points, baseboards, behind appliances, and near moisture sources. This is not about scattering traps randomly, it's about intercepting movement. Once deployed, the hardest part begins. Every instinct will tell you to kill the ants you see. That instinct is exactly what ruins the process. Those visible workers are the delivery system. Interrupt them and you break the chain before it reaches the colony. Leave them alone and they do the work for you. Within hours, activity may increase. That's not failure, it's recruitment. The colony is responding to a food source. Within a couple of days, movement slows. Within weeks, it stops entirely. Patience is the difference between a temporary fix and a permanent solution. There are limits. If ants have already caused structural damage, especially in the case of carpenter ants, the colony may be only part of the problem. If multiple pest types are involved, the situation becomes more complex. And if safety can't be controlled around children or animals, alternative methods may be necessary. This isn't about rejecting professional help, it's about knowing when you actually need it. The answer isn't dramatic, it's economic. Borax is cheap, widely available, and non-patentable. It doesn't support a recurring business model. There's no incentive to market something that solves the problem once and doesn't require follow-up. Meanwhile, the pest control industry thrives on repeat service, maintenance plans, scheduled treatments, ongoing dependency. That model works best when the solution isn't permanent, so the knowledge didn't disappear, it just stopped being promoted. This isn't just about ants. It's about understanding how simple, proven solutions get buried under complexity. The effectiveness of this method hasn't changed in over 100 years because the biology hasn't changed. What worked then still works now. If this gave you something useful, something you can actually apply, make sure you subscribe to WARFRONT Survival, share this with someone dealing with the same problem, and drop your own experience in the comments. Real knowledge stays alive when it's passed on.